that had to hurt. Hey watchers, good to see ya. Chef Tom here. Let me ask you a quick question, and you saw from the clip that was at the beginning of this video. Have you ever felt like you're getting body slammed by high prices? Do you feel like every time you go to the grocery store you're taking a forearm smash as a result of inflation? I know, I feel the exact same way, and that's what we're going to tackle today, or shoulder block, or wrestle with today. I'm going to show you 3 great dishes that are going to be able to be done on a budget, that are affordable, that you guys can eat right at home, and 2 of the dishes you would find at any restaurant you went to, and the 3rd one, that's an extra special one. But if you want to know what those dishes are, you're going to have to wait and watch this video. So fasten your seatbelts, guys, and get a ringside seat because it's time to watch me cook. Hi, Hanny. Bobblehead? That's the last time I let you and Mom talk about what we saw at the wrestling matches. What are you doing up there? You're not a camera girl. Get down from the camera. No, Henny, we're not making cupcakes. I mean cupcakes. That's yours and Mom's show. This is my show. You guys make cupcakes on your show, okay? But we'll make them later after I'm done, okay? When I was born, life handed me an uphill battle. As a young boy, I was diagnosed on the Autism Spectrum disorder and told that I would be destined for a less than normal life, but I wouldn't let that stop me. I changed the label, I slammed the door on the experts with only 2 words: watch me. So join me on this amazing journey as I cook with some really great friends, meet some really interesting, amazing people, cook some awesome and amazing food, and I prove that your diagnosis in history does not have to be your destiny. My name is Chef Tom Dickinson, and it's time to watch me cook. Let's get cooking. Another great move. Hey watchers, good to see you. I'm Chef Tom Dickinson. Welcome to Watch Me Cook. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and enjoy what we're doing. Also, we've got a lot of different formats for our content. You can follow me on Twitch, you can follow me on Instagram, you can follow me on TikTok. The sign-in names are right here on the screen. Now you guys are probably asking yourself, why is the chef using clips from a professional wrestling event to do a cooking video? I'll tell you why. My wife and I love this organization called Stars of Wrestling, and we go to their shows and they're absolutely a lot of fun. In fact, here's a great story. The first Stars of Wrestling event I went to, it was on the anniversary of the day that she and I first met. So what I did is I actually emailed, or I messaged them on Instagram, Stars of Wrestling, and I said, hey, can you give my wife and I a shout out at the event? And they did that. And even Stars of Wrestling's own world champion, he sent a get well wish video to my mother-in-law when she had knee surgery. Really, really great organization. So to bring this point across, I actually messaged Stars of Wrestling and asked them, can I use some of the content I filmed from your event for this video to help get the point about cooking on a budget? They said absolutely. They were totally on board. So let's get to it. Everybody's on a budget nowadays. Everybody's having trouble getting a decent meal on the table. Gas prices are through the roof, almost $7 a gallon. Food prices are atrocious. We all want to create great meals that are budget friendly. So I have 3 meals that are for you today. On the menu today, the first one, classic diner dish, a patty melt. It's absolutely delicious. Dish number 2, who doesn't love pizza? And you guys will just be blown away by the fact that a pizza costs less to make than it does to order it. And the third one, I have a very special dish, and this is dedicated to all my moms, All my parents who have kids on the autism spectrum and adhere to a gluten-free, casein-free GFCF diet. I have a beautiful GFCF stir fry that we're going to do, and it's going to be amazing. So first things first though, as we always do, let's get our meats. Dish number one, the patty melt, one of my personal favorites. I got some good ground beef, extra lean, got some good cheese, we got some sourdough bread. I'm gonna use my grill pan and my griddle just on a regular electric stove, and we're gonna make this dish happen. I'm gonna get some frozen tater tots, we're gonna share those on the side. Just, gotta have some potatoes to go with everything. I don't have a deep fryer here. Hey, it works, I'm in a household kitchen. So you know what? Let's go in the kitchen and let's get it going. The first thing I do is start breaking down my onions. So I'm using my knife, getting them broken down. Now I'm going to slice my onions really, really thin. And lastly, I'm going to get those on the stove and I'm going to get them cooking in a pot until they get nice and caramelized and golden brown. My onions are in, they're cooking really, really nicely. And now it's time we take a look at this ground beef here. I have 2 pounds of ground beef that is extra lean. I'm going to take it out of the package, I'm going to get it into a bowl, and I want to make sure I keep it cold so I don't have the fat break in it, because I want to make it nice. As you can see, I'm seasoning it with a lot of kosher salt. I need well-seasoned meat, and I want a really well-seasoned sandwich. And last, I'm going to season it with some black pepper and make sure that it's seasoned and balanced really, really well. Next, I'm just going to work it barely with my hands. I'm still going to keep it cold and make sure that that fat doesn't break, because I don't want a dry sandwich. I mean, who wants to eat a dry patty melt? I know that I don't. So let's get to it. I'm working this meat. It's almost done. Now it's time to grill. Let's head to the stove. At the stove, I have my griddle and my grill both on. They're both on high. I'm melting some butter on my griddle. Now it's time to start cooking. The first thing I do when my griddle's nice and hot is I'm going to lay down 2 pieces of sourdough bread on the butter to make sure it gets nice and toasty. Next, I'm going to lay down some provolone cheese to make sure it gets nice and gooey. Then after that, I'm going to shape my patties and I'm going to lay them down the grill. And of course, while I'm cooking, I'm going to adjust my seasoning. I want to make sure these are cooked, and when they're ready, I flip them over on the other side and cook them for another 2 minutes until they're done. Then I transfer them over to my bread, lay down some onions, fold over the sandwich, and then I get it ready to plate. I'm going to set this on a mat, I'm going to cut it up, and I'm going to fold it up, and it's going to look amazing. Bon appetit! Pizza. How much do we all pay for pizza when we go out to eat? When pizza has one of the lowest food costs ever. I'm going to show you guys how to make the old school grandma pizza. And the grandma pizza was actually invented in Long Island, not Italy. It's a pizza on a square sheet pan. Got to use lots and lots of olive oil to make that nice crispy crust. We're going to make our tomato sauce. We're going to put some mozzarella cheese on it. And you might think the sauce and the cheese go a little bit in reverse, but you know what? Let's get in the kitchen and let's get this done. For my quick pizza dough, I add 2 cups of flour, followed by a teaspoon of baking powder. Then I add a pinch of salt and a pinch of black pepper. I whisk my dry ingredients together, add 1 cup of water, and then I start bringing stuff together. As you can see, I'm working my dough until my dough forms into a nice ball. And when it forms, I'm going to wrap it in plastic wrap and set it aside, and then it's time to work on the sauce. For the sauce, I use a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, followed by a tablespoon of oregano. Then I'm going to crush some garlic, then I'm going to get it chopped up, and I'm going to add that to the sauce as well, along with a small amount of chopped parsley. I'm going to get that chopped up right here, then I'm going to whisk everything into my sauce. And of course, we must season. I'm adding some salt, I'm adding some black pepper, and then I'm going to finish it with a little bit of olive oil, and then whisk it all together, and now we're ready to go. For the crust, I line my sheet pan with olive oil and I lay out my dough. Once I have my dough laid out, I dust it with flour. Then I'm going to work my dough until I get it worked all the way to the edges so the dough is nice and thin, because I want it nice and crispy.
Once the dough's laid out, I'm going to top everything with mozzarella cheese, and I'm going to put dollops of tomato sauce on top of this. Now the pizza goes into a 500-degree oven for about 15 minutes. While I'm waiting for the pizza to cook, I'm going to clean up my station, and I'm going to put together a little salad in order to have something on the side for my meal. I'm going to check on my pizza now. It's starting to look good. We're going to make it happen. One person in my family can't eat pizza, so we're making a little pasta to go with it. I'm checking on my pizza now. Looks like my pizza's done. Time to take it out, and it looks delicious. Bon appetit.
So for our third dish is our GFCF stir fry. I've got a lot of different vegetables here, but you know what? I had a problem when going to the grocery store. They do not have any daikon radish at all. Kind of made me mad. I was going to use a special tool called a spiralizer to make noodles out of daikon radish. But I went to 2 different stores. They had no daikon radish. Even Safeway. It's crazy. But I found a very affordable gluten-free pasta that adheres to the guidelines. We're going to use a lot of vegetables. I'm going to use an actually really inexpensive cut of beef, and we're going to marinate it in wheat-free soy sauce, lime, ginger, garlic. It's going to be amazing. So you know what? Let's get to it.
First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my limes and I'm going to get them cut in half. Second, I'm going to peel my ginger, make sure it's all nice and peeled. Then I'm going to slice it, and when I slice it, I'm going to cut it into ribbons for julienne. Next thing, I'm going to crush my garlic, of course. Then I'm going to chop it up and get it ready to go. Of course, after that, I'm going to get my green onions. All this stuff is going to be going into my marinade. It's going to be awesome. After that, I'm going to start slicing some onions to get them ready for the stir fry. After the onions are done, then I'm going to start slicing some bell pepper. As you can see, I learned a little bit from some different chefs. I'm going to julienne my bell peppers to make it nice for my stir fry. And then I'm going to take my bok choy, cut it in half, and I'm going to cut it on a bias and make it look really, really good. Now it's time to marinate the meat. First, I'm going to slice the meat into really thin, wide slices to make sure that people can pick them up with chopsticks. Next, we're going to get the meat into the bowl. After that, I'm going to juice my limes and get the juice of the lime to cover that meat. Next, I'm going to add some wheat-free soy sauce, which is going to be amazing. I'm going to add some ginger, garlic, and scallions that I cut before. And then I'm also going to add some sesame oil to give it some flavor. Then we're going to finish it with a little bit of chopped cilantro. After the cilantro's in, we're going to stir it up and we're going to get ready to cook.
So, some of you guys are looking at the stove right now and wondering, Chef, where's your wok? Here's the deal. Not everybody has a wok. Not everyone has one available. I've got about 6 of them. I'm crazy. I used to teach classes. I like a good wok made out of 12-gauge steel that I can get at a restaurant supply store. But not a lot of people have woks. So if you don't have a wok, use like a kind of a heavy pot. Get it nice and hot. Best pot you can use. If you have a cast iron Dutch oven, you can use a Dutch oven. It works just as well. It's not about sacrificing, guys. It's just about replacing. You don't need a wok. You can just use a regular pan for this and it'll work out just beautifully. So you know what? Let's get cooking.
First thing, I make sure my pan's nice and hot. And while my pan is heating up, I'm going to start cooking my brown rice pasta because it's going to take a while. The pasta's cooking, my pan is starting to heat up, everything's ready to go. Time to add the aromatics. I'm adding ginger, garlic, and scallions, and I'm going to get those cooking and I'm going to get those sweating off right now. My aromatics are sweating, now it's time to add the beef. I'm going to add a spoonful in here, I'm just going to let it sear and I'm going to let it cook. While my meat is cooking, I'm going to make sure we incorporate all those flavors, and now we're going to add our onions and bell peppers to make sure it's nice. Now those have cooked for a little bit, and now it's time to add some bok choy and start cooking that down as well. Once my bok choy starts cooking, I want to cook the roots down and get the leaves nice and wilted, and after that's done, now we're going to start adding our noodles and making sure we incorporate them and finish them with the stir fry, followed by a little soy sauce, a little bit of sesame oil, and now we're going to incorporate it all together and make sure it's a nice cohesive dish. Check that out. To finish it, we're going to add a little sambal there just for some heat, and now it's time to plate. I'm going to pull this out of the pan. I'm going to put it in a bowl. I'm going to give the bowl a little bit of a wipe because we had a little bit of a spill, but that's okay. And then we're going to finish it with some cilantro leaves. Bon appetit, and all I can say is order up.
Yeah! Yes! Get him! Get him!
All right, that was the great finish. Winner, new champion. And guess who the new champion in the kitchen is? You are. We've got 3 great dishes. We're accommodating everybody, and everybody's going to have a delicious meal. But you know who also is great and amazing? You are. You are an amazing person, and I want to thank you for watching this. I also want to thank Stars of Wrestling for allowing me to use my content I filmed at their event to make this video possible. And if you really want to have a great time, go check out Stars of Wrestling July 23rd at Alameda Point Gym. They're having an event called Rooted in Wrestling. The address is on the screen right in front of you. If you live in the Bay Area, check them out. They're amazing. And with that, I want to thank you guys for being here today. Remember, if somebody tells you you can't do something, you look them in the face and say, watch me, and go do it anyway. You want to know why? Because your diagnosis and your history is not your destiny. I thank you guys for being with me for this video. Get out of here. Go be awesome. We'll see you next time.